Welcome back to Monster Hunter Portable Third something. How is stuff going on? I mean, I can't get an answer to that. It's kind of like a dentist asking, so... I don't actually know what I'm doing looking through here. So I'm gonna go hunt some stuff. To hunt today, I think... Yeah, let's start off with, I don't know, what do I feel like is most essential? Maybe let's go for unique stuff, and then I'll start carving down repetition if that's what I need. I feel like the Oregon is the last, like, unique one in this lineup. Hello, sir. My cat has a lot to tell me right now. I mean the one in the game. I don't actually own a cat. I do own a dog. I was in a place where I was very worried that dog ownership would be excessively ruinous of my free time. And it's not like I'm not, you know, taking maybe something like an hour a day just to walk him, not to count whatever else has to happen. But it's not as bad as maybe my anxiety was making me think it was going to be. So I still have the time to record and write and do all the stuff that I was worried would be dramatically affected for a long period of time. Right now my dog is sleeping on the floor. And he's generally been pretty well behaved. Actually, you know what? I'm impressed with how quick he trains, but that's more of a my expectations thing. I did, like, corgis are pretty smart, so I figured, well. All right, here is an Uragan, Uragan, Oregano. I don't know. I've never been great at official pronunciation. So this is this guy. He bounces his neck like this. See? Yeah, it's fine. I don't know why I didn't get out of time. It's such is life, right? You know, mistakes are sometimes essential to make. I don't know if that was one of them, but it happened. I believe this guy has a similar skeleton to Duramboros, which I'm just realizing now I don't think we've actually fought yet, or did we? No, I feel like he's actually after this guy, isn't he? So this is... Arguably, Duramboros has an Oregon skeleton if you're playing it like a normal person. Is that guy in this game? Am I crazy? I feel like Duramboros is in this game. Has nothing to do with this fight against the Oregon. I don't have an ideal strategy for this guy. He's kind of like any brute wyvern. Treat him like a train. He largely is only going to go a certain amount of directions. Try not to hit his face if you can't pierce it. Stuff that looks like it's gonna blow up blows up, you know, like that's not really surprising. Looks like largely his legs and stomach aren't too bad off. I have this recollection personally that while like it's fine for the carves, the benefit of cutting his tail isn't all that dramatic. Maybe it means he spins out a little bit more, because every now and then he'll do this thing where, like, he rolls up into a ball. Yeah, like that. Thank you for showcasing. And he'll roll at you, and, like, maybe he gets a little bit more unstable when he does that, but I would honestly want to test it before I just go and say it's the truth. Oh yeah, I guess he varies, and I forgot to paintball him. Because I kind of had this thought of like, oh, where is he gonna go? I forgot he can dig. Oh, okay, this is a Legend of Zelda game now. Hi, buddy. Boop. Oh. Cool. That's why I bring some Mega Potions. We made a whack of them, if my recollection of the last episode is correct. I thought I was going to be able to get out of that. Oh. Nah. That's fine. Oh, that chin. Oh, all right. I had, this is a random comment, but I had some Detroit-style pizza for lunch, and I feel like that's one of those, like, upcoming styles of pizza that's, like, really starting to get popularity outside of its city, a la, you know, the New York or the Chicago style of pizza. And it's funny, too, with Chicago style of pizza, because I would always, like, say that's my favorite type. Like, when I went to order pizza for most of my life, and I like got to pick where we got it from, you know, I'd pick a place literally called Chicago Deep Dish. And I'm not in Chicago, so obviously the authenticity is questionable. But the pizza was always great. I always really digged it. I like the deep crust. But then I came to learn as I got older that actual Chicago style pizza like does have that deep dish, but it also has like sauce on top, and I've never actually had that. So while like here where I live, I had to indicate like, you know, this is what I want, and that's fine, I can just like cheat. But if I ever go internationally, I kind of have to be like, oh, I like imitation Chicago style deep dish pizza. I've never had real Chicago deep dish style pizza, and I don't even know if I would give it. Okay, this is annoying. Just given that, like, I don't really know if I want sauce on top. That sounds like it's harder to eat than it should be. I love deep dish, but that's why I think like Detroit style is also kind of like, that's some pretty good pie right there. Now this was like a frozen one from Costco. There's a place that I really like that has, in my opinion, the best pizza I've ever eaten, and I was very fat when I was younger, so I've eaten a lot of pizza. And like, diatribe, but I once had like, I remember taking a picture of it because I took out like 14 boxes of pizza from my room, and it was only cleaning for like a week. You know, it wasn't like I had been hoarding for months. It was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna clean up my room this week, and then I just like, you know what, you should probably clean before it gets that bad either way. I recognize that as an adult, but besides the point. Now there's another style of pizza, like if I'm buying it, that my wife won't have because apparently it like ruins her internal systems. It's just like too cheesy and too rich. No, I should sharpen. Ah. Oh well, I'm here now, so this is happening. Shame it's happening because I'm clearly not prepared for it, but that's okay. We'll take our hits. Get out of here. Okay, so I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know where he's like really just drunk now or something. I don't know where this lands in the authenticity, right? Because like, I get my favorite place now is a place that does what they're calling like Greek style pizza. And it's like very, very good crust, very thick cheese, thick toppings, but not like as thick as a deep dish pizza. It's like halfway, I guess. And it's phenomenal. But I have no idea, you know, I don't want to just sound like some weirdo, like going out, because like you order like a Greek pizza, like a lot of pizza places, you're gonna get something with like Greek ingredients, right? Like red peppers and maybe like, I don't know, tzatziki or something. But the pizza I'm ordering is like a meat lover's pizza in a Greek style of, dude, I don't know. I don't know where it all lands. I don't even, maybe that's something they're trying to start. It's a whole debacle, and I'm not really perfectly equipped to answer those questions. I just know I like the pizza. But I want to know. I kind of have this like hyper fixation on like knowing the local differences of the same thing. Like, you don't want to go one place and ask for something and then they have no idea what you're referring to. Like, you had to learn a lot of those. If you go to like, even if you just like watch like English TV or something, right? Like, you have to learn what the heck they're talking about when they say like a boot or pants, etc. But there's like additional versions of how that goes. Even like between Canada and the United States, there's times where you have no idea what the other person is saying. Especially like, this is more like less related to that, but when it comes to like temperatures and stuff, it is always like, I always forget that Americans are on like Fahrenheit and stuff, because like they'll go and say, oh yeah, it was like 84 today, and then myself and everyone in every other country is like, what are you talking about? And that's always confusing. And I think it's weird too, because like, I don't know, I feel like Canadians will like try and convert a little bit for you. They'll be like, oh, this is, you know, 25 and normal people temperature, but for you guys that would be X. But then it seems like instead, when you're talking to Americans about temperature, they just kind of like presume everyone knows what they're talking about. And that type of thing, like that behavior, presuming something that isn't ubiquitous is ubiquitous, that specifically is like a pet peeve of mine. And I hate doing it myself, because I have. And I strive to learn that I'm doing it wherever I can. Ooh. And there's some that are like, I don't know, like pronunciation things that are kind of fun, even if like, this is admittedly being petty, so it's never something I would actually like call somebody out on. But I in my opinion, say like aluminium, that's the correct pronunciation of the word. And for whatever reason, since my brain made that choice, whenever somebody says aluminum, it feels wrong, and I just like, it's not even a hick thing. I don't even know why it is, but to me it becomes like the most redneck pronunciation of the word. And all of this story is kind of why I'm really just not fun at parties. Like, this is the type of thing that I find riveting to think about. I don't really think I needed to do that, but it's okay. Oh. You know what's funny too? It's not like it's an issue, it doesn't bug me, it makes sense, but I think the last Monster Hunter video I just put out with the berry off, it got copyright claimed. And I'm like, this is obviously not a monetized channel. At least not right at this point in time. But it looked like it was copyright claimed by Capcom, but they gave permission to use it. So they're like, oh, this is fine, but we just want you to know we know. And I find that kind of funny. Oh. And it was just for the Barrioth song, which I find interesting. Like, any amount of intro songs or background music, that was all fine. The Nargacuga stuff, yeah, no worries there. 15 seconds of Barrioth? Nope. Well, it's not like it was taken away, right? Again, there's no concern, there's no claim. Like, to take it down, it was just, we see you. Which I found more fascinating than anything. Okay. That being said, like, there are some games that I would theoretically be really interested in running. Because of, like, the potential of copyright concerns I actually avoid. Or, like, would be hesitant to play. Like, I would love to do a run of Twilight Princess HD. But I just have this, like, fear that because of how strict Nintendo is with their IP, that the videos would get taken down or something. And it's not like, you know, oh, the universe, how will they ever survive if the videos are taken down? It's more just like, I don't want to put in all the work of recording, editing, and storing something if it's, like, going to be removed. So, yeah, it's tough to say with stuff like that, especially as somebody who's, like, a huge Nintendo fan. You know, I've played lots of games growing up. I have a lot of Legend of Zelda tattoos, actually. I have, like, spiritual stones and the medallions of all the temples from Ocarina of Time. So it's, you know, definitely a big game in my life. I ritualistically play or replay the Ocarina of Time whenever I get the feeling, but I try at least once a year, just so that the last time I played it wasn't the last time I played it. You know, it's like I don't want to forget it, in a way. And I enjoy something new every time I replay that game. That's part of finding joy in older stuff. Maybe just pay attention to a different detail, and that detail can make all the difference. With all of the fun of that out of the way, hey, look at that, my guess great. I had a feeling that that was the the right move. Clearly it was. Hello.
Hi.
Ah, greetings, Hunter. I realize I've been doing this a lot as of late, but I'd like to ask another favor of you if I could. Have you heard of a Duramboros before? They're tremendous brutes with tails they use as if they were hammers. I'd very much like it if you could take care of one that's been causing some trouble recently. Admittedly, it's even stronger than Zinogre was, but I have complete faith in your abilities. Be especially mindful of its tail, however, as it has a tendency to swing around in an attempt to hit you with it, and an impact from something of that size could very easily send you flying. An old man once said, "It's better to toe the waters carefully than to jump in with both feet first." I suggest bearing this in mind while pursuing this one.
Hi.
Okay, so the thing that I was just talking about is literally next. I feel like it's not a bad option. Part of me wants to... I don't know. You ever, you know... I want better armor, and a better sword. But I don't, off the top of my head, know what's giving me a Keen Bone or a King Scarab. And I'm sure I could go and pursue it. I'm sure I could. But part of me is, well, oh man, and that's the thing that like always gets me about the Nargacuga stuff. I'm not into the mesh, but I do love the helmet. The good old classic. I don't even think the Snogre stuff is here yet. Yeah, okay, well, I'm gonna go do one of those. I'll toss this Zinogre fight in. Because I gotta clear this other one anyways. Did I use any of your stuff? Oh, you don't have any of the things I need, do you? No, that'd be too convenient. Far too convenient. But maybe I can like poke and see if any of the stuff I'm looking for is here, maybe. King Scarabs, I don't know. I mean, I only have a somewhat relevant setup for this situation anyways, right? Like, mixed armor. I do think replacing my armor would be very beneficial. What a view. Anyways, I thought I saw a little blip over here, so I'm gonna go check over here. Really quickly. What do I get if I was to do this? Broken. Crickets. Broken. God book. Alright, I was out in the fields and I found God. Now, game, tell me, am I going the right direction or should I turn around? I should turn around. Cool. There we go. I will try and focus on tail carving this match where relevant. Ow. And hey, we get cool battle theme. Super fun time. Ooh. Okay. You know what? Not much is more fun in Monster Hunter than getting better at a fight. So I relish the opportunity to give it a go. And you know what? Maybe this is just my own biases speaking. I think Zinogre is a better, like, land Rathalos than a Tigrex is. Ah, darn. I should get in there and stop that, but... well, maybe I did. Maybe I affected it a little bit. I can't resist the tail hit. Ooh, that's fun. Oh. Well, this is probably the one he's gonna blow up on, but... hey. That looked like it was effective. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of stun over damage. I'll take that any day. No, we leaving? Okay. I will chase you, but not all the way, sir. Time to do that. Great. Yeah, I'm just kind of, again, I saw that the tail is requirement for the waist for this weapon. So I figure why not try and focus that. I mean, you can get a tail just from regular completion, but it's much more likely for you to get a tail off of cutting the tail. Oh. You know what? I don't even mind all the dodging right now. I've been doing a lot of grinding on like old raids in Final Fantasy 14, and some of them, like, it's a fair amount of dodging. And then I've also been, I guess, learning a bunch of the new raids, because I'm finally, like, as a player who joined when Shadowbringers was a thing and Endwalker was just about to release. I am only just now getting to literally the most recent content, which is 6.3, that I'm aware of. I think we're waiting for 6.4. And so I'm doing, like, Christ, new raids, new stuff like that. But there's this, like, what's called a treasure hunt. Oh, that could kill me. If it wasn't for, like, a boss cat heal right there, I would have totally been dead. Yeah. I was hoping that something like that would happen. Ooh. Yeah, we gotta tuck into him in situations like that. He'll cover a gap pretty quick, but it's much tougher for him to accommodate his own body in dodging. Oh. Done with me. Ooh. This is the wrong side of that equation. Now, this could be a cart. I'll accept it if it is. Yeah, I'm going to try and stay down. Mega potion. Okay, very lucky. And a good showcase of why it's important sometimes to just, like, not move when you get knocked. Sometimes you can take a second before getting punished, and that can be really beneficial. Alright, you are very angry, Lightning Wolf. I recognize this. Oh. Yeah. I mean, that's not great, but better than taking the hit, if I'm being honest with you. Oh. That was a very climactic chance. Also, I feel like this is a pretty long range. Like, that's fine. It's his prerogative, I'm just saying. Yell, 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 yell. Yeah, I know. You're a cranky puss. And just in case. Some decent tail hits. Yeah, there we go. Now you can tell, like, this break is not... Oh, wow. The cat stunned him. And I'll take a wyvern tier from my farms. And I got the tail, too. So, like, despite getting the... You know, cutting it, it doesn't guarantee that you'll actually get the item. So, getting it is ideal. Now, I mean, there are some rarer parts that you can get, but you can also increase your drop chance of those by breaking the horns, breaking the claws. And it looks like we already have one horn gone. So this has been a relatively good, if not a little bit lucky, Zinogre hunt. Here, I'll make sure. I'm sure I'm topped up, and I should be using this one, but meh. Meh, I say. Yeah, that was fair. Oh, you're trying this again? Alright, I mean, I'm not gonna... Oh, nice. I could punish it. Oh, no, okay. My cockiness could lead to a death here. Ooh, yeah, if I'm stunned when I come up, totally dead. Yep. Unless he gets, like, epically distracted. Yeah, and that's fine. I saw that coming. Oh, I'm not having a day of flawless fighting. And, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I've won so many fights, I've lost so many fights in Monster Hunter that it's really all water off a duck's back at this point in time. I know, as an eventuality, the fight will succeed. I think that's what Oprah's sun theory. I know that tomorrow the sun will come up. And that's like, it's a cool reassurance thing if you have like issues with that specific brand of anxiety. But my anxiety is like, you shouldn't be that confident about the sun there. You know, something could happen. Our existence on this planet is not a guarantee. I forgot about the third one. I don't know why. Can I smack you in the face to make this go away? No. I can take a hit that might make me risk a second card? Good. Beautiful display, sir. How do you feel about swords in your butt? Not that that's exactly where I want to put them, it was where they happened to be going in the moment. Fun times. Hi, person. Well, you're not. I don't know why I said that, if I'm being completely honest. Or why I rolled that way. I guess, I don't know. I guess. Anger? Alright. Oh, alright. It's all... a bunch of interesting stuff. Are you gonna go Super Saiyan just because you are low health? I remember that's like part of your whole ordeal. Yeah, I'm gonna... Come here, Wolf. No? Well... That is, that's exactly how that works, so. I'm not even, no, I should have considered that a leaving signal. Eek. Hi. Hello, monster. Is this the final countdown of Sword Smacks? I don't know if we're there. Oh no, we are there. Okay. All right. Well, there's some more stuff. Always good. I don't know if I'll be able to... Ooh, a shocker. I feel like that's a rare bit. I have this recollection of that being... I don't know. I feel like that's good. We'll hopefully get some more stuff off of the drops from the mission completes, and then largely, you know, A+, go us. Maybe I can try Duramboros. I have a feeling that I'm gonna biff it, but hey, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Oh, right. Hi. I forgot to say something. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go try this Duramboros. What can you do? Right, I don't need that. I need... Yeah, here, we'll make the falls and get a little bit, unless I can make the helmets. Yeah, I feel like as much as the cowboy hat is funny, let's do this. Cool. And we probably can't make anything more. But, oh, nice, we can. Okay, cool. So we need some shells and plates, but we're a little bit further along, which is, exciting. Yeah, I mean, why not just see where we can get it, right? What? Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
Ai.
All right, departing on quest. I don't remember fighting the Duramboros here, so that's something. I feel like he's gonna be over here. Nice. Okay, this is Duramboros. He's a big boy. He takes some hits. I presume we'll be able to do it if we're patient. This is kind of the thing that he does. And then, like, at the last minute, yeah, he'll, like, blow up. So, super fun time. While he's really big, his size is about the extent of what he has going on. That, like, he can play with momentum really well. I don't recall him having a breath attack. I may be corrected, but I don't think he has, like, any elemental affinity or anything like that. Oh, sorry. I'm in my thoughts. I should be saying stuff. That's the nature of this format. But I'm off thinking about irrelevant stuff. I'm frustrated by political systems. That's the easiest way to phrase where my thoughts are. I'm a very results-based person and a very information-based person. I don't really attach a lot of emotional weight to information, and I'm very, very, very critical of myself. And these things kind of combine and making it very difficult for me to work through concerns that other people may have. I've, throughout my lifetime, bothered folks when I've said things, and I didn't even realize they were mean. I didn't even realize they offended anyone. And then I come to learn that they are the case. And it's confusing to me, because like people are like, think of how people feel, and I've always kind of been taught that you can't be responsible for other people's like emotions, and maybe that's just like the reality of growing up with like an addict and a deteriorated parent relationship, right? So like people who are manipulative will use their emotions against you, and they'll say, oh, this hurt my feelings, or how could you say that, or how could you think that, or oh no. And they weaponize that concept. So for me, I've had a lifetime of being like, I'm gonna do what I have to do, I'm gonna be as honest as I can, and people are gonna have the reactions they have to that. And that's been my survival strategy for a really long time. And sometimes that doesn't always work with people, because they're used to, I don't know. Again, it's tough for me to say because I don't understand it. It seems like a very guarded, fabricated sort of like view of honesty. It's like if you have something positive or you're affirming an already known truth, that's the type of honesty people want. But if you're speaking to something that might be negative, you just don't say anything at all. So when people ask you to be honest about something, there's like this invisible caveat of only if it hits these specific requirements for what I want to hear or what you're allowed to tell me or whatever it is. And I just don't understand, if I'm being frank. I have such a perseverance to truth, to honesty, and like reality, then I just can't process taking offense to information. Because to me, like, again, I have no intention to hurt people's feelings. That's never where I intend to go with places or things. It's just that, like, if somebody gets offended by something so innocuous, I get really confused. Because, like, if I was trying to say something really, really cruel or intentionally hurtful, like, it would be very clear, you know? It would be a directed, targeted attack, so to speak. There would be no room for interpretation. It would be a made point. And I don't know, I guess that's part of, like, being very comfortable with self-critique. I am very aware of my shortcomings. I'm aware of the things I haven't done, I'm trying to do, have failed to do. And I don't really forget that, but I'm very comfortable with that reality, that I'm not perfect, that I've made mistakes, that I haven't learned every single thing, whatever, right? And I think if you aren't practicing self-critique, that can seem like an attack, when in reality it's just an analysis, it's just an audit. It has no bearing on anything, it has no intention, it's just kind of like going down the cupboard and seeing what's there. And I'm good with being like, you know what, this cupboard has some really pretty pots in it, and ooh, look, this is enameled, and this is cast iron, this is a good cabinet. And then the other one's like, yeah, I have half of an eaten gummy bear in there. I don't know, don't look. Like, that's just being human. And it's weird to me that if something's like, you know, somebody comes by, it's like, hey man, this cabinet, it only has like opened cans of mandarin oranges in there. Would you want to like maybe take those out or get some new ones? And they're like, how fucking dare you tell me that my cabinet shouldn't have open cans of mandarin oranges? Is it? Do you think I don't know that? And it's like, what? I just pointed out that was a thing. It's not like I was like, hey, you have these open cans of mandarin oranges in your cupboard and you are a bad person. Like but I think that's how it gets perceived, right? Observations people take as, I don't know, what, more than an observation? Like there's some sort of like declaration, so to speak. And I don't know, I guess it's the reality of like most people are very focused on themselves. And despite that self-focus, it's more on like the requirements as it seems to be and getting caught up in like the errata of thoughts compared to a very like wholesome view of the person that you are. Ah, well, that's how she goes. My issues to bear and learn. But it's funny because I can remember having these same issues my entire life, and it's like I thought eventually there'd come a point where like, hey, I'm gonna get into a room of people, and they're gonna recognize that even if I have like an asshole voice, which, you know, I can concede, I have a voice that may be inclined to negative propositions, even if they're not. I still am on your side, and I'm not trying to like hurt anyone. But I have been chronically misunderstood my entire life, and it does get exhausting to be painted as a villain. For somebody who doesn't take very villainous actions, you know, like maybe I've crossed some streets that didn't have crosswalks throughout my life. You know, I'm not really a criminal. I have a corgi. I've always taken care of animals. I've volunteered pretty much my entire life. I actually prefer to volunteer to working full-time. I work full-time as a consolation to needing to be alive. I volunteer to have joy. I'd rather take care of people. The first bit of education I did was grief therapy. I've done a lot of therapy in my own life, been like as a subject. I've tried to work on myself. You know, I've had a lot of trauma and losses in my life, and yet for some reason, despite all of my actions, I cannot escape this perspective that I'm, as a negative person, as somebody who is trying to be disruptive. And it's weird because, like, imagine like an engine, so to speak, right? And there's all these different elements of the thing. You have pistons churning, and you have belts that are connecting to whatever. I don't know how cars work, so I'm painting a picture with words I don't understand. But we'll go with it. So you're in this situation, and then you say you know how cars do work, and you go and you look and say, hey, this bit, it's a little bit bent out of shape, and it's going to work a lot better if you have something that is smooth there. And like, here's a recommendation for what you can do. And then instead of that person being like, oh, hey, yeah, that makes sense, let's fix that part, they go, are you pointing out my shortcomings? What is wrong with you? Why are you always focused on stuff like that? And you're like, what? We were we were looking at the engine. Like, I don't, that's how, like, feels like most conversations have gone in my life. It's just like, I'm just so focused on making things better and improving stuff. And I take a very, like, unbiased perspective of most situations. I try really hard to do that. I like to take myself out of the situation and just objectively look at what is and isn't working, say. And people do not like that information. Like, they just don't. They don't want to hear it. At a very, very deep level, they are very uninterested. And I can remember even, like, in 4th grade, there's a conversation that, like, forever is just ingrained in me because of the reaction that a teacher had. Because, like, I wasn't even talking to her. She just overheard me talking to another student. And I guess the conversation pissed her off so much she had to tell me to stop talking. But, like, we were allowed to talk, too. I'll make that point. It wasn't like I was, like, it was, like, quiet time in school or some crap. And it was, like, nobody can say anything right now. Like, it was like a working period, and you were with, like, a partner, and you were, like, discussing stuff. And I was discussing stuff. And the way I went about discussing something, like, was so upsetting to the teacher. And I even now, looking back, I was like, you're a teacher. Why would you ever be frustrated with a student talking about something and discussing something in, like, a unique perspective, right? Like, do you really just want them to reiterate the same developments that everyone else is reiterating? Like, that's so disappointing. And I think, you know, that's where I ultimately fail myself, is when, like, I get disappointed in that way. I get really tired. And I lose respect. And respect is a really important thing for me. And I don't mean, like, the old, like, 45-year-old trade worker type of way. Like, you gotta respect me in my house. And by that, he means you gotta let me be a rude piece of shit to you and not complain about it. Like, that's not what I'm like. But I just mean, like, say, if I was like, hey, I know how to tell a story, and if you want help writing a book, I can do that for you. The only way I would believe myself is if I had put out books. I've done that. I've done the process a lot of time. I can attract actors to projects that I'm doing. I can run different stuff and campaigns. I can pull stuff out improv. And, you know, I have that skill demonstrably. If somebody was trying to give you that advice and they didn't have that background, or they couldn't prove they had the skill set, like, you shouldn't respect their opinion on that matter. That, to me, is just logical. Like, you know, I don't know anything about orthopedic surgery. Do not trust me or take my word or base policies based on orthopedic surgery on my understanding of it. That's just a given, right? I'm not an oncologist. Don't let me deal with people's cancer. And so the idea of, like, to me being like, hey, to do oncology, you need to know about oncology, that's just a given. And yet, again, these things, these statements, these realities to me are apparently much more objective. But I don't really get it. You know, like, again, continuing the discussion, if someone, like, came by, hey, this is a true thing. I don't respect people who give medical advice without being medical professionals. I don't trust people who have lost their medical license when it comes to current, you know, best practices, even for general practice. You know, if someone was to give me a procedure, I want to make sure that they have up-to-date licensing and accreditation. These things, again, while to me they just seem like givens, I don't know what's true anymore when it comes to being able to not bother people. So it's weird. And it's a tough lesson to me as well. Because, like, I found historically very infrequently will people give you this information in the moments it's occurring. You know, like very infrequently will people be like, hey, you know what? I don't know if that was an appropriate thing to say, and I actually kind of got hurt by that. Because if somebody did that to me in a moment and I had that realization, I would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That was never my intention. I was just talking about something from the perspective that I saw it. I had no aim to cause any disdain or trust issues or hurt anyone, and I apologize. But what often ends up happening is like people will have that feedback where they'll get upset and then they'll just like hold on to it and then they'll let it boil over. They'll never tell you, or they'll, you know, report it on upwards instead of letting you know that it happened. So you don't even get the lesson. You just get punished for it. When this type of thing happens, nobody is interested in helping you figure it out or get better. And if they do, it's usually very much at the end after it's already gone wrong. When like you've forgotten it even happened and now you're confused, and you know, it's easy to get defensive when somebody's like, you know, something, you know, a certain period of time ago, that now that's an issue, and you're like, what? But it, okay. And like that's the vibe. So I guess that's where my head went. How to deal with that and how to stop being cast as a villain while still like adhering to my desire to be truthful, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. It's never my intention or goal. I don't even see that as a beneficial thing to do. It largely just adds time and processing to stuff, and I like to do things quickly, so it's never at any point in time something I'm aiming for. But I definitely need to adhere to evidence and logic and benefits that are, you know, observable. I can't pretend something that isn't working works. I just don't have the capacity to pretend because I don't know what to say. Like, how do you lie like that? And that's what I view that as too. That's maybe an issue I have compared to other people. It's like, if I have to not discuss realities, I'm lying. And that is what it is, but it's just like, it's not truthful. And speaking of something that's not truthful is inherently lying, and I'm a really crap liar. You know, if someone asks me a question, I will just answer the question. I have no... Like, it's not like I don't have a filter. I'm not going to be like, hey, guys, you know, this is my favorite type of, you know, bad literature. Not bad. Erotic literature. Like, you know, I'm not going to, like, jolt in inappropriate statements out of nowhere. But I'm also going to be like, you know, if somebody asks, whatever. And I think maybe that's something I've never been taught. I don't recognize the limitations and filters of other people very well. And I guess often I find them frustrating because I'm like, oh man, we'd be able to get so much further if we didn't have this random, like, blockade in our way. Yeah, well, I guess that was Durham Boros. Hard to complain about that. I wonder what is in 6-star for this game. I really don't know. Because I don't think it's the monster that we are finishing this series on. I think that's in the guild. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty good fight, but again, no, like, it doesn't have breath weapons, so it's largely just watch your positioning, be able to flick your camera up, learn to dodge when you can. And that worked out relatively well, so I'm not terribly upset with the outcome of that quest. And you know what? More progress made. I like this outfit. I'm excited to get the whole thing. It looks pretty cool. It's clearly inspired by whatever, but that's fine. Fantastic. A little bit of farming done there. This guy has something to say. Oh, there you are. I nearly fell over when I heard you topple Durham Boros all by yourself. Well done, kiddo. Well done indeed. Oh, right. I gotta give a little gift for you. Do you remember those Armor Sphere Plus I gave you not too long ago? Well, I happen to have a few extras. Thought maybe you could make use of them for me. Since some of the quests you've gone on recently were a bit more challenging than before, you might want to consider strengthening your weapons and armor more. You remember what I taught you, don't you? First, start by using... Okay, we've done this 10 billion times. Great. Hi. Ah, Hunter, I'm glad to see you've returned to us safe and sound. To be able to successfully take out such an enormous brute like Durham Boros, you really are a tremendous help to the village. I only wish I could have offered you something a little better as a way of thanks. However, as it turns out, I have a few new requests I'd like if you could take a look at. As well, you may know, word of your exploits has begun to spread amongst many of the villagers. Some have even come to me with requests, only I dare say some may prove quite challenging. If it's you, though, I'm certain things will be fine. You may also want to consider looking into some of the Hot Springs quests, if you haven't done so already. Alright. So, Diablos, Tigrex, Durham Boros and Royal Lodroth, Barrios, Tigrex and Giganox, Agnactor. That's cool. Urgon, Rathlos and Raytheon, and then some epic hunts. So, lots of stuff to return to. Thanks for checking out this episode of Monster Hunter Portable 3. And I hope you have a fantastic wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Bye.
Quack.